everybody, it's Kathy Fielder and welcome to the Fielder Report. Today I have the pleasure of talking with the dynamic, gorgeous Dr. Tiffany Moon, who is one of the new stars of the Real Housewives of Dallas. It is so nice to have you here.
It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
I feel like we've been talking already for 10
have.
or 15 minutes and it's just been such a good conversation.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of want to dig in. You know, you are an entrepreneur, you're launching new goods, you're doing all this dynamic stuff. And so, you know, I mean, how are you feeling right now? That's the question I have. I'm sure everybody wants to know, what's this like? Because it's got to be a lot to take in.
Yes.
Right? You're a very strong lady.
Yes.
But you still have it's a lot to deal with. I know. I kind of run in this same kind of crazy world. So
yeah. I guess if I had to describe everything right now, I would say I'm feeling overwhelmed. Is that a good word?
I think I've been feeling overwhelmed since about March 11th, 2020. So yes, I get that.
What
right?
happened around then?
I don't know. Yeah, no, it's a lot, right? So
it's been a lot.
How do you manage that? I mean, how do you approach like even managing that? Right?
You know, it really is, like people say, one foot in front of the other, just keep going. And an occasional glass of champagne.
Absolutely. Well, and it's like 4:30, so it's time to
it's cocktail hour.
Have a great time. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've been working hard all day.
Absolutely. So, but you know, I mean, there has to be strategies to manage this because you're a doctor, you're actually practicing.
Yes.
You've got twin girls, you have a husband, you have a household to manage.
Yes.
You're on a TV show for the first time, which is very invasive into your life. And so what do you think your number one way to manage that? I mean, advice for all of us, because we're all managing something.
Right.
Right?
Right. I'm going to say it's having a strict schedule. I mean, I schedule my day in 15 to 30 minute increments, like a crazy person. And if you look at it, some of my friends that are not type A people, they're like, oy vey, they just can't. But that is how I get done all of the things I need to get done in a day. If I don't schedule it like that, it just won't happen.
Now, would you say, I have OCD.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that helps you kind of manage all of this a little bit, right? Because you have to be so on point all the time, especially with what you're doing. Reality TV is it's a lot to be on point all the time and being interviewed all the time and talking all the time, right?
Right.
And so how do you find kind of that inner dynamic element that you really continue to want to engage rather than going, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I'm out, see ya. Like, what kind of drives you?
I think what drives me is to tell my story and to entertain. We've been in such a dark space for the last 11, 12 months.
Right.
So if I can get on your screen and give you a chuckle or a laugh, then I feel good.
I love
that.
I
do really subscribe to the adage that laughter is the best medicine.
Absolutely.
I practice medicine all day long. My job is not exactly fun in that sense, right? I'm providing serious work while I take care of patients that are having surgery. So when I get home and I'm not doing anesthesia, serious things, I like to be silly.
Now let me ask you, because I find it so hard to work all day and then come home and be mom and cook dinner sometimes and be wife and all of those things and to keep it light. So I want to go home a lot of times in theory and keep it light and happy and we're all laughing and smiling and it's going to be great because we're going to sit down and we're going to have family movie night and it's going to be awesome. And then I walk in the door and everyone's like, and they're complaining. And so it's difficult. The dynamic of being a working mother is really so hard. I mean, I feel like for a stay-at-home mom right now, it's really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, they're at home all day and some are homeschooling their kids.
Yeah.
And how do we manage being, whether we're running a household or running a career and staying happy in that space and not letting it wear us down?
Yeah, no, I think that's so hard because when I get done with my day job as an anesthesiologist, I have to go home and start my second shift.
Absolutely.
And sometimes my twins are being crazy people and literally like hitting each other and not listening to me. And I'm about to lose my cool and just yell at them.
You want to. You're like, I'm so tired.
Did you not see me work all day? Do you not see me in scrubs? Like, I'm about to take away all your toys. Like, all that kind of thing. So I worked out a plan with my nanny, bless her soul. I call her my wife, where when I come home, I have 30 minutes where I will text her that I'm coming home because if my kids see me, it's over.
Oh, of
So she'll
course,
take them
right.
to the
Yes,
backyard if the
absolutely.
weather is nice, or upstairs or on a walk
And
or
you can
something,
decompress.
so that I can sneak into my own house that
Right.
I own and sneak in without my kids having to
Right.
see me, and take off my scrubs, have a shower, meditate for 10 minutes, open some packages that have arrived, just mom things.
Just be you.
And then after those 30 minutes, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready, because I had a little buffer.
Absolutely. And that's such a smart skill, you know, and such a smart way to do it, because we have to take some time for us, whether that's meditation or a little bit of working out, or just literally 10 or 15 minutes where you breathe and you figure out, okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So do you work out every day? Are you able to fit that in?
Yeah, working out has become lower
On
on
the,
my
like,
priority
I
list.
know.
Before, I was going to the places like Soul Cycle and Pilates Bar and Studio 6. And when you go, you know, because you've paid, and there's some guy at Barry's like yelling at me, I'm like, oh yeah, do the push-ups. Yeah,
Right.
but then at
Boot camp.
home, I'm like, do.
I know, it's different.
I'll lift like 10 pounds,
Here's
and then
some
somebody's like
sit-ups.
texting me, and then I'll stop and just end up texting. And yeah,
You
the
gotta
working
tend to that.
out.
It's hard. It's really
I
hard.
really need somebody like yelling at me in my face in a class with other
let's go,
people
let's
like
go, let's
shaming me if I don't keep spinning.
Right. Well, and speaking of that, you're super competitive, right? I mean, you make no bones about that.
Yes.
And so obviously that would be your like perfect way to work out.
Yeah.
And you're very you're so smart, so driven. And I was reading a little bit about your story, and you were talking about the fact that, you know, you maybe did it a little fast. Right, which I understand. I graduated from high school in 3 years, and I'm super driven too. And I've said that many times, that I kind of left out some of the most precious little experiences in order to get to where I wanted to be. Right.
Right.
So, do you have advice for that effect to people who, you know, or anyone watching or anyone listening that says, I'm going to go get it done? Like, how do you balance that?
Yeah, I think I probably made a mistake, because I was so singularly focused on like must have MD, must graduate, top 10%, that I missed a lot of life events. You know, I was studying for finals, and I missed my best friend's graduation from business school. And I texted her and was like, I'm so stressed. I have finals, like blah, blah, blah. Sent her some flowers and stuff. And then in retrospect, I'm like, I'm never going to get that day back with her. I should have gone to my friend's graduation.
Right.
Like I should have driven to Austin and done that, but I didn't, because I was studying and I had finals, and it, you know, and I never studied abroad in Europe. I never took any like comparative world religion classes or those other sorts of classes, because I was like, must take AP chemistry and physics and Latin and all those things. So I kind of had blinders on, and yes, I got to where I wanted to go, but then I arrived there and I was like,
wait, where am I?
What just happened?
Right.
What did I miss? Like,
and that's okay. I mean, everyone's journey is different, right? And that's so important. And so that's such a good thing. It's actually more important that you recognize it, because that's what I've learned in life. It's not realizing or knowing that we make mistakes. It's recognizing, not even a mistake, but recognizing what we want differently at the time. And I think that COVID has been so essential in helping us understand that, right? Some downtime.
Yes.
I mean, I know you were, and I was, before the shutdown and all of that happened, I was running 90 to nothing all the time.
Yes.
And I was, you know, I was ragged, and I was so tired and just exhausted.
And cranky.
And just not having a great, you know, it seemed glamorous and it seemed amazing, but that wasn't really what was inside of me and what my heart held in it, right?
I could not agree more.
So I think in so many ways, this experience of COVID that we all love, it's good and terrible, right?
Yeah, no,
But
it's caused so much destruction. And then we're like,
has.
but in some ways,
it's actually kind of
understand.
centered us and made us understand kind of more the priorities.
Yep,
right?
I feel the exact same way.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, it's been a blessing in that respect. And so we're understanding now that we all kind of had some introspection. We're figuring out what's important. And so having that, having gone through this, like, what's next for Tiffany Moon? Like,
you know, I have been practicing medicine for 10 years, and I love medicine. I love teaching. I love doing research. I love doing anesthesia for my surgical patients. But at my job, I don't get to express much creativity. The right side of my brain is not used. Right. Generally, people don't want their anesthesiologist to be creative.
Of course.
Like, let me see what happens if I do this.
So, let's try it here and see.
Yeah, let me try this concoction and see if that works. So I wanted to use a little bit of my creativity and also combine it with my love for the community and philanthropy and giving back. So I started creating this line of candles as a hobby that I didn't really think anyone would buy.
Now, did you start this during COVID?
I started the first candle prior to COVID, but then during COVID, like I actually made it a business and started selling it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then I created multiple flavors, flavor scents. So the candle line is named Aromathesia, which is a play on aromatherapy and anesthesia.
Very nice.
And all my candles are handmade in the USA, actually locally. So I'm giving jobs to a lot of people who didn't have jobs during COVID. And they're named after anesthetic drugs, and they all have taglines because I believe that every person and every candle deserves to have a tagline.
I love that. Well, so it's very personal. It's personalized and very specific.
It is. And I made these scents.
I love this.
You know, this one's different.
So you got the oils and you figured out exactly what you're going to do?
And I have a special candle person that I work with, and she's fabulous. And yeah, we made all these scents, named them, created snarky drug facts for the back, you know, indications for use if anyone's ever told you that you have a resting bitch face.
I love it. So it's so personal. It's witty. It's fun. It's just lighter.
We all need something lighter
and engaging.
Yes, you light it in your home. It smells good. It brings a laugh to your, you know, it makes a good gift.
Absolutely.
It's just supposed to be for fun.
And it's kind of new and different.
Yes.
And then you're also doing masks.
Yes.
And just some different things that you're
these are scrub caps that we wear in the operating room. And then, of course, masks for going out anywhere.
For everything.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, to honor her when she died, and Dr. Fauci, who has helped us with his science throughout this coronavirus.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so those I've been doing. And then this is actually probably the most touching product of all to me because my husband made it.
It's really beautiful. Oh.
I did not make this.
Oh.
My husband made it.
Wow.
I guess it's helpful to marry someone who started in the jewelry business.
Well, for sure. That is actually a good thing. It's a really good thing.
Yeah,
he designed it?
He designed it.
Oh, that's so
and
special.
And trademarked it and patented it and everything.
That's so amazing.
So it's a circle entwined with a heart, and he named it Eternal Love because he says that I always give love to everyone, like to my friends and my patients and animals and all that stuff. And so he made this necklace for me. And then people asked about it, so we started making it to sell for other people. And we donate proceeds from all of these products to the family place.
Which is such an incredible...
Such a near and dear organization to me from everything that I sell.
So where do you think this passion for giving back, what inspires you to do that?
I think it's because when my parents and I came to America, we really didn't have anything. Sure. And it was only through the grace of God and the philanthropy and the community that we lived in that we were able to make it. I mean, people brought us dinner. We had no Christmas presents. People invited us to their home. My mom and dad were in a really bad car accident, and they came and took them to their doctor's appointments. And
that's amazing.
Just for, you know, and I'm like, why are these people helping us? Like, it didn't occur to me. And that's something that was very special that I found to be true, especially in this country. Like, I didn't experience
There's a sense of community.
Yeah.
We all want to feel that again. I feel like we've all kind of been robbed of that sense of community over the last several months.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to watch us progress back to that place. We're all craving that and needing it.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful that your parents had that experience,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that, you know, it inspired you to give back. Charity is a huge aspect of our family and what we feel passionate about and serving our community. So I understand the need to give back. And also, it's so important because you want your kids.
Yeah.
It's so important you want your kids to see what it means to be blessed, but be able to extend and give back and understand that it's a circle. And it's just so important.
Yeah, they're just now starting to understand, I think.
And
You know, when they
young
were
too,
4, they
right?
were like, no, we don't want to give our toys away. We want to keep them all for
Right.
ourselves. But now they're sort of getting into this, oh, I understand. Like, some
Right.
kids don't have toys. Like, we should help other people. And
Yes.
do you see mommy doing all of these things?
Well,
And
there's a time for them to understand that.
yeah,
right?
they're just now
getting
starting to
that
catch
place. And so I think, and it's important that they just grow up understanding that. Now, speaking of the twins, are they very like similar personality? Totally different, right? Okay.
Yeah. One we call Mini me, and the other one is Mini my husband.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's we're total opposites.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
And so do you, and you said you'll come home sometimes and they're just like in each other's, like, I mean, managing children amidst
A pandemic.
oh my gosh, and like teaching them
Yeah.
and educating them
I'm
and
like,
staying sane.
if I have to do any more addition or subtraction or short versus
or
long vowel
Googling
sounds,
what is E equal, what's the value of A? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, what's the value of A?
I'm like, I already did school
How
and I
can
did
A-
it well.
How
I'm
can
not
A
doing
have
it again.
so much value? I just don't get it. Like, it's so funny. Bella and I joke about it all the time because it's just, I wasn't designed to teach my kids.
Yeah, no, I did school already. I don't need to do it again.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So tell me, you're in your first season of Real Housewives.
Yes.
And I know, I mean, obviously you've filmed.
Yep,
So-
it's showing.
Yeah, it is. And one question I do have, tell me, do you know what's going to air? No, so that's what I thought. So you don't really know what's going to happen. So you're watching it and you're probably like sitting there with your Twitter account going, oh my gosh, right? And you're just sitting there figuring out what your response to that's going to be.
Yeah.
So tell me what that feels like.
It's very anxiety producing.
Like nerve-wracking?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you really don't know what you're going to see.
I mean, we know what we did. We know the party that we had, but I don't know which part of a 2-hour conversation will, get sliced out.
Of course.
So
and the commentary around it. So it's very difficult. And so you're sitting there kind of preparing yourself to see that and how you're going to like kind of present that out, right?
Yeah.
And again, back to what you were saying is you want to just be kind of a fun, light. I love your character because you work hard. Like, I work hard. I do. I'm a working entrepreneurial woman who manages a house and kids and a real like dynamic career.
Yeah.
And so it's great to see that. I mean, when you were filming that, was that really hard to
It
manage?
was very hard.
Like so hard to manage that.
I was basically working 2 full-time
24/7.
jobs.
Yeah, no, for sure.
For 12 weeks.
Absolutely.
But I did it. I didn't call into work one day sick.
Good for you.
Didn't go to work one day late. Didn't cancel a single
It was like
case.
a little extra cucumber under the eyes.
Oh, girl.
Right.
I need a discount. I need a sponsorship on concealer because we're just laying on
Little
the
shake tape
concealer.
going, right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. But you know what? I did it, and I'm proud of that.
Good for you. No, I know. I've pulled all-nighters. I opened up 2 retail boutiques within 6 months of each other last year, or I guess 2019. And so it was literally like roll up your sleeves and you're just going to get her done.
Yep.
Right? And
but we have a get it done attitude.
Yeah, that's
it
right.
will get done.
It will get done. I tell Isabella that all the time. She's nationally ranked equestrian, and I'm like, girl, you just go ride, and you'll get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got what it takes. You've got the moxie. Just put your big girl pants on and get going.
You got to do it.
Figure it out. You have to figure it out. You have to find the solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe in that.
So because you're a doctor, and speaking of COVID and all of these things, I mean, you've taken the vaccine.
I have.
Which, there's so much commentary on the vaccine.
Yes.
Do we take it? Do we not take it? Can I let my 17-year-old daughter take it? I mean, all of these things. And so you've taken it. You haven't had any issues.
That's correct. I took the Pfizer one because that's what my work had. I've taken both doses 3 weeks apart and had no side effects.
That's
really
amazing.
none.
Well, Tiffany, I've had the best time talking with you today. You're so lovely, dynamic. I love your story.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on the Fielder Report today. And if you are on YouTube, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Cheers.